There is one river in Africa, not the biggest, not the longest, but one that plays host to more life and death than any other. A river that epitomizes the wilderness that may soon be gone forever. It is Kenya's Mara River. The Mara is one of many rivers that flow into Lake Victoria, the world's second largest natural lake. The headwaters of the Mara start with a series of streams in the Mau forest below Sierra Escarpment. In the forest, the streams run cool and clear. From here it flows out onto the sun-drenched plains of one of the world's great game parks, the Masai Mara. To the many creatures that live out their lives along its banks, the river is everything. Large or small, predator or prey, is a thread that binds them together. The common need to quench their thirst is an essential part of their lives. When the rain is good, the animals spread out, drinking at pools. But this is Africa, and dry always follows it. As the temporary waterholes dry up, the animals return to the river. The river itself is a dynamic, ever-changing system. It's constantly altering its shape. Sandbanks deflect its course, or the annual floods undermine its verges, collapsing trees and leaving behind steep, almost unclimbable banks. At the same time, those banks are being modified by the actions of the animals. Pounded by millions of hooves and feet, the approaches are constantly reshaped. The hippos play an important part in this process. They are large, and the paths they tread in their day journeys access to other animals, and at the same time provide channels for water to flow into the river. The area between the water and the bank, rich feeding ground called the Mara. Here foliage is lush and green, even when the rest of the Mara is parched. For the elephants, the river is a place of passing to feed and find water and then move on, for they have few enemies other than man. But for the rest, the river is a hazardous barrier, where death comes in many guises. Very few wild animals die of natural causes. For most of them, life is a long struggle to postpone the inevitable, violent end. The success or failure of any species depends on its ability to evolve techniques to survive. The crocodiles might wait in ambush, but the zebra is strong and fast. And where the prey goes, the big cats must follow. But even a lioness keeps a wary eye on the basking crocodiles. Jovati, wildlife photographer.
The following scene is one of the most extraordinary sequences filmed of crocodile predation. The Mara River is the lowest it has been for many years. The gazelles, unlike the wildebeest and zebra, do not often cross the river, and consequently the knowledge of crocodiles is limited. Although she can clearly see the 50 large crocodiles lying in wait, apparently the lead female does not associate them with danger. Perhaps it is their low profile which does not alert her.
River that brings life-giving water also harbors death. Crocodiles have strong conical and cylindrical teeth. The enlarged canines are sharp, with razor-like cutting edges. They are best suited to gripping and puncturing. The teeth also interlock, so there is sideways cutting action. The teeth are not deeply rooted. Instead, into sockets in the jawbone and can be dislodged by a sideways pull. To counter this, 2 or more crocodiles anchor the kill, while another rotates its body, tearing off portions. In spite of this, crocodiles are obliged to swallow much of their food whole. This is achieved by raising their heads high with a gulping motion to allow chunks to slide down the gullet. Powerful digestive juices then deal with bone, horns, hair and sinews. Crocodiles are ectotherms, which means they have only limited ability to control their body temperature. So the crocodiles spend much of their time sunbathing. Once their bodies warm up, they open their mouths in a gape to dissipate excess heat from the tongue. At the same time, by raising their head, they shield brain from overheating by angling it to the sun's position. Crocodiles are also capable of absorbing energy in the form of solar heat at the tongue's surface. If it becomes too hot, they move into the shade or return to the water. The crocodile is perfect, exuding a musk-like scent from the pressure of this action, an olfactory stimulus that excites her. Female signals her acceptance of the male by raising her head up high and baring her throat. This behavior precedes mating. The clutch of eggs that results varies from 18 to over 80. They are laid in a cavity excavated by the female. She remains nearby, but sooner or later she must return to the river to drink. Then the water mongoose, honey badger, bush pig, baboon and hyenas can dig up the eggs. The Nile monitor is a most efficient predator, and in parts of Africa destroy 50% or more of the eggs laid in a season. They appear to find the exact location of the eggs by detecting scent that the female crocodile uses to indicate to other females the position of her net. After 80 to 90 days, the eggs hatch. They usually utter yelping or croaking sounds, signal to the mother to open the nest and release them. But in soft river sand, they can emerge unaided and cover a short distance to water on their own. Even the hatchlings are opportunistic, feeding on aquatic and shoreline insects, crabs, snails, tadpoles, frogs, and several species of fish fry. Although crocodiles are thought to live up to 100 years, the first is the most critical. The hatchlings have quickly learned to hide from the many hunting birds. Even a eagle will depart from its fish diet if it can catch a baby crocodile. These slow-motion studies show that long ago nature evolved the flying skills and had to develop when he too took to the air. As the bird leaves its perch, it dives to gain flying speed. The legs are tucked in to streamline its shape. As it approaches the target, The primary feathers of wings and tail are spread to slow it down, and at the same time to act as flaps to prevent storm. Powerful wing beats enable it to climb with the added load. The eagle's talons are barbed to give it a better grip on the fish. The actual pickup is an amazing feat of flying when you consider that the fish must be accelerated from 0 to a flying speed of about 25 kilometers an hour in a fraction of a second. The bird's weight is suddenly almost doubled, and the center of gravity is changed greatly. It is an achievement that few aircraft could perform. Aerial skill of another kind is shown the pied kingfisher's hovering helicopter-like flight. In spite of the vigorous movement, the kingfisher keeps its head perfectly still, so it can take accurate aim at its prey. At the same time, the bird must adjust its aim to allow for the reflection of the water. Because of the energy expended by the kingfisher, it must catch a considerable mass of fish each day. This hippo died after a fight, and its mate defended its body for several days. But a creature like the crocodile that lives for over 100 years can afford to be patient. Sooner or later, the cow must leave the river to eat. Now the crocodiles show the scavenging role in the river's ecology. The tough, thick hide obliges to go for the softer parts of the body. In a case such as this, the feeding is orderly, with each crocodile waiting its turn. The river's influence extends beyond its banks. Once much of this area was covered by equatorial forest, but now only a few remnants survive along the river. The forest has its specific set of animals suited to its special conditions. The leopard is the principal predator. It prefers a habitat where there are big trees give it and its prey protection. Lions are main creatures of the open plains, but sometimes a lioness will use the thick foliage as a shelter where she can suckle her cubs. Baboons are the most widespread of the African primates in man. They can be found almost anywhere where there are tall trees or cliffs shelter them at night. During the day they forage, mainly on the ground, for a wide variety of food. Here are eating wood termites. They are intelligent, and the young soon learn by example from their parents. The martial eagle hunts in the forest margins. It can weigh over 6 kilograms and quite capable of killing a young impala. These powerful birds have been known to subdue animals as large as 20 kilograms. A baboon scavenges the remains of the eagle's meal. This is a reminder that millions of years ago, far from here, our ancestors came down the trees to steal from fellow predators. Elsewhere in the forest, a brown snake eagle confronts a forest cobra. It is a contest between the cobra's lethal fangs and the eagle's talons. The snake eagles have special adaptations. They can hover as they search for prey, and unlike most eagles, their legs are not feathered. Instead, they are protected from bites with thick scales. In nature, nothing is static. Each organism goes through a cycle of life and death that is part of the survival of the species. Even the trees of the forest are subject to nature's laws. The river is the core of a greater ecosystem. It is surrounded by forest and grassland. The balance between the two is constantly changing, and the agents that change are fire and elephants. Although elephant population in Africa have fallen drastically, here on the Mara, their numbers have risen since 1994. This is because they were once free to migrate to forest areas outside the reserve, but today they are confined by heavy poaching. And every year the pressure on the forest increases. By breaking down trees, they can open the forest to grass, and once the grass is established, fire can penetrate. By its very nature, grass can withstand fire better than bushes or young trees, and today grassland dominates the Masai Mara. Some animals browse the thickets on the fringe of the forest. Once, the Mara supported a large number of black rhinos. Today, poaching has reduced their number to 30. Long legs raise the corrie above the grass so that it can see its enemies. The marsh harrier patrols the grassland and instinctively the mother flattens her tail to hide the chick. This 25,000 square kilometre sea of grass supports an estimated 2.5 million animals, of which 1.5 million are wildebeest. Each species develops its own feeding strategy. Not only does this reduce competition, but it also uses a resource to the full. For instance, the zebra graze the longer, more fibrous grass, and in the process they expose the green, protein-rich leaves that the wildebeest prefer. The grass has also made its adaptation. It actually thrives a short period of intense grazing. So in a symbiotic relationship, the animals benefit from the grass, and the grass benefits from the grazing. The result is one of the most productive systems the world has known. During the dry season, the males fight for the right to sire the next generation. The cycle of their lives is governed by the rain, and their rutting is timed so that the birth of their young coincides with the arrival of lush grass of the next rainy season. An annual pattern of animal movement was once common. Now, thanks to man's agriculture, his fences, this is one of the few places where the spectacle of a mass migration can be seen. If the amount of longer grass diminishes, the zebra the first to move. And following the herds are the lions. Once they were the spotted cats of the forest, but now they too are coordinated to merge with the grass. The river is a barrier stretched across the migration route. There is no way around it. Predators know their best chance of making a kill is here at the crossing.